Bun just got released as a stable product, and it's amazing how superior it feels compared to Node.js or Dino. From its cutting-edge performance down to first-class JSX support, Bun has got you covered. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Monster Joe, or welcome if you're new here. Today we'll walk through Bun.js and learn how to use it on your machine. Now, before we talk about Bun, let's try to understand what a JavaScript runtime is. In layman's terms, it's a container where JavaScript code is executed. A popular example is Node.js or Dino, and Apple has WebKit. In order to execute this code in a runtime, an engine is required. Basically, what it is, it's just a program that takes in valid JavaScript code and executes it inside of a runtime like Node.js. Google has V8, which is used in Google Chrome to run JavaScript and other Chrome-based browsers. Apple has JavaScript Core for Safari. Historically, the latter has been significantly faster and more efficient than V8, and the benchmarks speak for themselves, really. Let's take a look at WebSocket. It's even faster than Dino. Also, Bun has its own implementation of SQLite, which can execute almost 80 queries per second. All right, enough right now with the figures and everything and the internals. Let's see it in action. First, I'm going to go ahead and open up the documentation, and then in the installation, you'll go right here. Now, as far as Windows support is concerned, it's very limited right now. The only thing you can only use in Bun is like the runtime, but you can't install packages and build or do any of the stuff I'll show you right now in the tutorial. So the good news is if you're on Windows, it runs almost perfectly fine on WSL. So you can go ahead and copy this first command, which is basically gonna install Bun.js. Next, you're gonna go to the start menu and search for WSL, and then press enter. All right, so now that you're inside here, you want to paste the command in, and then hit enter. Now, I have to mention before you go ahead and copy this command, you need to install a package, a Linux package called unzip. And if you're on Ubuntu or basically Debian-based distro, all you have to do is type in sudo apt install unzip. I already have both installed, zip and obviously Bun.js. So yeah, once you're ready, you can go back into your terminal. I don't know why I closed it, but I have this Ubuntu down here, which is basically like an Ubuntu terminal, but again, it doesn't really matter what you choose. Anyway, all I have to do right now is just create a new folder. I'm gonna call this one Bun Crash Course. Actually, let's call it Bun Tutorial. All right, so now we create a folder. We have to cd into it. Okay, now that we're in here, let's go ahead and get started with Bun. So to initialize a Bun project, all you need to do is type in bun init. It's gonna ask you for some stuff, package name, entry point. Leave everything as it is. All right, so now that we're here, all we have to do is type in code space and then dot to open up this the root folder in VS Code to open up the folder you're in. All right, if this error pops up, click on yes, I trust the authors. All right, so okay, extensions. Now, of course, since we're using VS Code, it's almost inevitable that you'll need an extension for whatever project or environment, whatever you're working in. In this case, Oven, the creators of Bun have an official VS Code extension. All I have to do is just go to the marketplace and type in Bun, and then click on the second option right here. And what this does is gonna add like first-party support for Bun.js, especially with launch JSON files. You can customize watch mode. Okay, so now let's open up index.ts. As you see right here is just a simple console log statement. Now we can go ahead and delete that, but first I wanna make sure that it's working. So open up a terminal and then type in bun run index.ts, and it prints out hello via Bun, and it did that in like what, a fraction of a second. That's how fast Bun. Now let's set up a simple all right, so to create a simple server, all I have to do is type in const server, basically create a new variable equals bun.serve, and then right here, inside of this serve is a function that takes in an object with like several options. So the first one is going to be the fetch request, so fetch and then req for request right here, and we're going to return a new response of hello world. And now we need to assign the port on which this server will run. So now listen. And last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and console log something. So server is running at server. You can add .hostname, which is basically the URL. So all we have to do is just save. Now if you do this again, bun run index.ts, our server running at localhost. Also might add like $. Alright, shut down the server. And you're gonna see a pop-up that says your application is running on 8080. Let's just open up in the browser, and as you can see, alright, so let's say you change a few. As you saw earlier, you're gonna have to like restart the server and do that, but there's actually another way without having to do so. So let me just first exit out of here one more time, and then bun run. After the word run, we type in -- watch. So we're putting the bun server in watch mode. So what that means is that it's gonna quote unquote watch for any changes that occur inside the file, and basically do like a live refresh or hot restart without needing to sort of like manually do it, which is kind of nice. So add a few extra. As you can see right now, it says hello world. We refresh. All right, and I'll make sure one more time it's working. Remove few exclamation marks, save, and refresh. There you go. I didn't have to hit Control C. Just that on the fly. Does that on the fly. All right, so this next one is kind of a gimmick. It's called Bunx. Bunx is basically the equivalent of npx in Node.js. So, I mean, Bunx is not a gimmick, but cowsay is. So if I type in Bunx cowsay hello, it's basically gonna print like an ASCII cow with a dialogue of hello. Again, kind of a, it's a gimmick, but it shows you how. Now, a real world scenario where I could find this Bunx pretty useful is if you were to go ahead and type in create React app, for example, and stuff like that. Basically, like execute an npx command. Alright, so next we have bunfig.toml. And what this does is that it's a toml file that basically allows you to configure or override Bun's behavior as it says in the docs right here. I'm not going to get into too much detail because most of it is pretty self-explanatory. Now, I will say that process.env.bagel and stuff like that. For example, if you have like environment variable, you can basically add an alias to it. And if you have like a bagel, so you can map file extensions to loaders. So bagel files are not supported by Bun. As an example, you can reuse them as TSX components, React components. And there's a single caveat right here. So if you have like similar properties in like global and local Bunfig toml files, it'll do what is called a shallow merging. And what that means is that it's going to merge properties, merge settings at a shallow level. So if you have like a setting with like nested subsettings or properties or whatever, it's not gonna override this. It's gonna override only the top level. top. Also, one more thing here, if you're not doing anything with the request object, you can basically. Alright, so now let's take a look at some very useful APIs in Bun, like the file management. So basically, it's relatively simple compared to node.js. So all I have to do is right-click, create a new file of .txt, and right here I'm just typing in. Hey, never expected I get you rickrolled. Alright, seriously though, let's go ahead and go const and then file or anything. So bun.file and then like the name of the file, so file.txt. And now let's try console logging. So clg that console log file. Oops, sorry. Save. And now let's run this again. Alright, so you get only like. Now to get the contents of the file, all I have to do is type in const like content equals await file, not dot read file dot text, and then we can console log. And there you go. You have now to write things to a file, write content. All you have to do is that const data. I'm gonna create a variable to write data to this file. So const data hello world, and then const file again, const file bun dot file file.txt, the one we have right. And last but not least, all we have to do is type in await bun dot write, and then file, and then we give it like the file and then data, and then once we hit save, go right here. There you go. We basically we got rid of the old content and replace it. And that is basically the file management API. Right, now before we move on, here is a list of all the Bun native APIs right here. So I have TCP, transpiler, almost anything you'd find. For the most part, this should do the job. Now let's go back to. And as you can see, you have basic stuff like fetch, response, request. We looked at the fetch earlier. URL, search params. Basically, every single web API you could find is supported in Bun by default. So we have the DOM, history, anything. So if I go ahead right here, I'll get rid of this. And I'll create a new Bun server. So alright, so for example, I can add a timeout just like regular node.js, and then after that it returns like a new response and console log. This time I'm going to be using Thunder client, which is basically a RESTful client, an API client from which you can make requests. So I'm on localhost 3000. I get right now. There you go. 1 second later, I get hello world after I click the send button, of course, after I make the request. So yeah. Now, eluding back Node.js compatibility. The Bun docs have a list of Node.js APIs that are compatible with Bun. So for example, Node.fs and stuff like that. The file system has some stuff missing from it. Has some missing things from it. But then there are stuff like path, OS. Yeah, OS fully implemented. Let's see right here. Now, in order to install a package in Bun, there are two ways. Basically, there's Bun install and Bun add. The difference between the two is basically Bun add lets you add a single package to like the module tree in like my opinion. So yeah, in order to add a package, let's try installing Lodash. So Bun add Lodash as such. Oops. Let's try this again. Bun add Lodash. And as you can see, it installed like in 600 milliseconds, which is very fast. Let's just go back to the browser and type in and go to the lodash docs and see what function we can use. So array function. Let's go. And in order to use it, we'll just get rid of this. And then we're going to type in import, just like you would in regular Node.js. Import all as underscore from lodash. And it says it can't find lodash. Declarations, stuff like that. All right, now if you get like a type declaration, all you have to do is add it to your project, and it's pretty similar how you do it in Node.js. So for example, type in bun, add, and then -d, because it's a dev dependency, and then add types, add slash lodash. And as you can see, it's successfully installed. It took 2 seconds, but yeah, there. And now the error is now. We're gonna try the in range function. So do this underscore dot is in range. What's it called again? Let's go back here. In range. Okay, there you go. Now this function takes in like 3 parameters. One of them is the end number is optional. So and which is basically the number we want to check the number in question. So number 3 or 4 right here. So let's open up the terminal, clear this out, and then bun run index ts. Actually, let's see. Let's put this in a variable const in range. Let's do is in range to avoid any possible confusion, any likely confusion between the method and our variable. We're gonna console log is in range. Save this. And we get true because 3 lies between 2 and 4. Now, what happens if we get rid of this end number right here? Save that. We get false because 2 is bigger than 3. So the first number is basically, if there's no end number, this function checks then the start variable, start parameters. So if it is, it returns false, so it's out of range. So we go with 1, for example. We get true because it's in range, so anything below, any number below 2, negative numbers, it works as well. So, but actually it doesn't because it's a negative number. Okay, so with negative numbers, you have to like put in your own end number right here. You can read up the rest on like loadat and like the documentation, but again. All right, so this feature is pretty neat, and that is cross compatibility between like uh, the import systems. So basically, you have ESM and CommonJS. The difference between the two is that CommonJS is older and it's synchronous, but the import is asynchronous and works with asynchronous functions, asynchronous objects and functions and methods and stuff like that. So the nice thing about it is that you can use both in Bun. Historically, in like Node.js or whatever, you'd have to basically go into the package JSON and specifically and explicitly say what how you want to import your files. So module is like the ESM import export from Lodash. You can import something like let's try array stuff. So array again. Alright, so it's kind of one of those situations where you don't have any type declarations or whatever for like an inner module, so this doesn't work. You have to import kind of everything with the ES6. But if you do this, const array is equal to require, you can use it just fine. It will not throw any errors. So that it's lodash dash array, and as you can see, but that comes at the cost of type safety. So you get any right here, unused declaration. Now, if you get this in range, console log is in range, and now let's go. All right, so we got the array. So we have this difference function which checks for difference between these two arrays. Let's try bun run again. Save that. The difference is one because this function, this number exists in like the left array, but not in the right one. Not in the right one here. So yeah. But if we were to do 3, for example, not to save that. Basically, this array would be empty. But if we were to do 4, 3, we got 4. But now, if we do this, only 4. So only looks at like the first element of the Now, big disclaimer, haven't used Lodash at all, almost, not extensively. Let's dive in right now into JSX support. So, in order to enable, let's clear this out. In order to add JSX support, now it already is supported in Bun by default without anything, but you're gonna need use these JSX. So all I have to do is type in bun add React, and since this is TypeScript, we're gonna also need to add a dev dependency. But first, let's install React. And then right here, we're gonna add, type declarations for the React DOM. So actually not the React DOM, but awesome. Okay, let's go to new file and call this one react.tsx, and then rfc. And if you're wondering where I got these snippets, is because I have ES7 snippets installed right here. This extension, and it gives you all of these snippets like RFC to create a new React component and stuff. Yeah, right here you can basically use React just fine. We're gonna call this component instead, and give this like an h1. Call this like heading. Save. And you have to make sure it is exported as a default function, just like you would in a regular React component. So right here, let's get rid of this. And now we can go ahead and console log. First, before we do that, we're going to import component from React. And then we're going to console log component right here. Now watch this, right? So bun run index.ts. Oops, I have to, there you go, use it as a component. And this is what they meant when they said that you had first. All right, I should have added this console log inside React, the React component. So again, my bad. I apologize about that. Let's go. All right, now let's try doing bun run react.tsx, and you get component basically. Now, as far as official support for React is concerned, you're gonna need something like Vite or whatever that you can use inside of Bun.js, which again you can do with like Bunx, create Vite at latest, and stuff like that. But again, you don't need anything extra. All you have to do is just create something like this. So if I were to go ahead and const element, there you go, we don't get any errors. And right now, yeah, awesome. Let's try this again. This is an example from like the guides, but yeah, you get hello world, stuff like that. You get all the JSX tags, it prints them. All right, now let's get into SQLite. Now, as I said earlier, Bun has its own high performance SQLite driver. So in order to do this, to use it, all I have to do is just import database like that, and this is gonna basically set up like SQLite and stuff like that. So bun colon SQLite. Let's close the terminal, and now all I have to do is type in const db is equal to new database. Now you can do an in-memory database with colon memory and then colon again, and this is like a valid data table name, or actually reserved in SQLite, which means this is like an in-memory cache. Now to create a query, just create a variable called query. So const query and then db dot and then you basically do your normal SQL queries inside of a template string. So right here, let's get rid of the colon. So select all from users, for example, but this table is empty. Last but not least, all we have to do is query dot get, so it gets like the results of the query, and we're gonna console log this. So console log query dot get, save. Now let's do bun run index. And I just realized that I put it accidentally here in like React JSX instead. We don't need this anymore, so let's get rid of it. And you get error no such tables, so we can let's see. Actually, let's copy the example from the documentation. So select hello world as message. It's basically gonna, create like variable called message in a database query. So run, forgot to save that. Alright, so it creates a message variable and stuff like that, and it returns it to us after we. Let's go back here. Actually I meant to only those 2 lines. Now we're going to create an actual database. So first we're going to create like a database dot, then the name of the table. So call this one, I don't know. You actually can't give it a name. It's called MyDB. And if it doesn't exist, you can add an extra parameter right here. So you can give it create is equal to true. And now if we run this, nothing happens. But as you can see, created a new mydb.sqlite. So yeah, the .sqlite is the extension name. Again, I apologize for any confusion. But then let's delete this one. Delete. MyDB, we can call it like users. Give it any name. So bun run again. And I forgot to say this again. Alright, there it is. Users.sqlite. Again, there's nothing in this table right here because it's empty. Let's delete this. Yeah, awesome. So now we can go ahead and execute the exec right here, so you can execute queries right here. So create table if not exists. Just gonna create a new table with ID and a name. And now, as you can see, we get the file is not a text editor because VS Code doesn't support SQLite out of the box. For this, you're going to need something like SQLite. Need something like SQLite View. Let's install. Alright, there you go. Now, if we go ahead right here, there it is. You have the table with the name and stuff like that. So if I were to put in Yusuf, for example, you can like query stuff like that. I'm not gonna show you because I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. But last but not least, you have bundlers. You have you can do it with 2 different ways. You can do it through JavaScript or with the bun build CLI. So index.tsx can build a single file, then outdir, which is the build directory. So right now, let's go back here. Alright, let's try making a simple fetch request. So return new response that says hello, and then port number, give it 8080 this time. And now all I have to do is type in bun build and then / name of the file index.ts. There you go. And then you can specify the name of the directory. So outdir in this case is going to be let's go back here, and be the .build folder. So .build And as you can see, it built it very quickly. Again, this is a simple file, so let's go ahead and index.js. There you go. You have like yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for watching. If you liked it, be sure to comment, subscribe, be sure to hit that bell icon.